In a world that feels, well, pretty chaotic, probably one of the biggest challenges for any parent is how to raise an emotionally strong kid. So today, we're going to break down some simple but really powerful tools to help your kids build that confidence, that resilience, and that inner peace they really need to thrive. Let's start with a number that kind of frames just how urgent this conversation is. Take a look at this. 75%. That's the percentage of children who actually experience overwhelming stress before they even turn 10 years old. I mean, that's a staggering statistic, right? It just goes to show our kids are navigating a much more complex inner world than we might even realize. So does this feel familiar at all? If you're watching your child struggle with these big emotions, the sudden meltdowns or that persistent anxiety, please know you are absolutely not alone. This is a shared experience for parents pretty much everywhere. And that really brings us to the core challenge we're all facing, living in a world of overwhelm. But as we're about to see, the source of that overwhelm, it might not be what you think. Okay, so this is a really fascinating shift in thinking. The core problem isn't necessarily a world that's moving too fast. Nope. Instead, the real challenge is a mind that just hasn't learned the skill of slowing down and finding a little calm in the middle of all that noise. And that, right there, leads us directly to the solution. We're calling it the mind's superpower. This whole section is about teaching our kids that their mind is this incredible tool that they can actually learn to control. This distinction it's absolutely crucial. It's not the situation itself that causes the stress, but our perspective on the situation. I mean, think about it. The very same event can be a fun challenge for one kid and a terrifying obstacle for another. The real power lies in learning how to shift that perspective. And here's the real payoff. When you teach your child that they can consciously choose to let their mind rest, their entire world just calms down with it. All those racing thoughts about, something that happened on the playground or a test that's coming up tomorrow, they can actually be quieted. They learn to find peace right here, right now, in the present moment. So how do we actually teach this in a practical way? Well, our next section, Taming Emotional Storms, has some simple techniques you can start using, like immediately. So the first tool is the 3-minute awareness exercise. Super simple. When your kid is upset, just guide them to sit quietly for just 3 minutes. The goal isn't to fix the feeling, not at all. It's just to notice it without judgment. And from there, you can both just watch as that emotional storm eventually passes, all on its own. Oh, I just love this analogy. It gets right to the heart of the whole exercise. Your child is the sky, vast, constant, and fundamentally okay. Their feelings, that's just the weather. Storms come, storms go, but the sky always, always remains. It's such a powerful way to teach them that they are not defined by their temporary emotions. Here's another great visual for this. It's called the fish tank method. Imagine a fish tank, right? The mud at the bottom gets all stirred up, making the water super cloudy. Now, you wouldn't stick your hand in there and try to force the mud down, would you? Of course not. You just wait. And the same is true for our emotions. We can teach our kids to just wait and let all those muddy feelings settle down all by themselves. All right, so now that we have some tools for managing that inner world, let's turn our attention to our external relationships. This next section is all about building healthier friendships. And wow, this is a big deal. Studies show that kids who learn just a few key relationship skills have 40% better social outcomes throughout their entire lives. That is a massive advantage. So what are these magic skills? Well, here are 3 really powerful ones. First up, heart-first communication, which is really just speaking with simple kindness. Second, the 30-second rule. When you're annoyed, take a breath, wait 30 seconds before you react. And third, the campfire friendship principle. Every friendship needs a little space to stay healthy, just like you can't sit too close to a fire for too long. Okay, our next section is really foundational to everything we've talked about so far, forging unshakable confidence. This is all about building genuine self-worth from the inside out. And what's so powerful here is how simple these actions are. See, true confidence isn't just built on grand achievements. It's forged in these small moments of ownership. Encouraging your child to, say, pick up a piece of litter, or help without being asked, or take responsibility for a mistake. These tiny acts build a huge sense of capability and self-worth over time. This question. This is the ultimate confidence killer, isn't it? For kids, and let's be honest, for adults too. That constant nagging fear, what will people think? It can literally paralyze a child from just being their authentic self. But here is the liberating truth you can share with your child. People are mostly busy thinking about themselves. They think about your child far, far less than your child imagines. And giving them permission to be disliked by some people, that's one of the greatest freedoms you can ever offer. They just don't have to please everyone. Phew, we've covered a lot of ground, from inner emotional storms to outer confidence. So let's bring it all home with a simple, immediate action. Your first step tonight. And this is so, so important. The goal here is not to implement all of this at once. I mean, that would be totally overwhelming for anyone. The key is to remember that small, consistent changes are what create massive transformations. Just pick one thing to start with, maybe the 3-minute exercise or one of those ownership mindset actions. So here it is, your final takeaway, your mission, should you choose to accept it. Tonight, ask your child this simple but incredibly powerful question. What made you feel proud of yourself today? This simple question shifts their focus from getting validation from the outside to finding pride on the inside. It's a really beautiful way to start building that unshakable emotional strength. Thanks for joining us.